Well, hello again, and welcome to another Thursday Live with the Association of PEMF Professionals. Glad you're here, and we've got some really great things to cover today in addition to our talk, which is about some clear guardrails that you can explain as far as implants and their interference when you're working with humans and animals, and also your surrounding area. So with that, let's just jump right into it, and let me jump out of the frame here. There we go. So as far as implants and interference, some clear guardrails you can explain. So today isn't about specs, but it's about safety and your ability to explain it in about 30 seconds. So when you're working with somebody, those of you that are not members, this is all part of our protocol that we do. We have a checklist. And so this is an overview of what's available to our members. And also it's an enticement to have you join us, become a member. So again, this is education only. And as far as, following the device's instructions for use, and then also whatever the local rules are in your state or county. But again, the bottom line is when unsure is you just pause and you get clearance. So somebody says, hey, I've got this, can you still do PEMF? I've got a screw in my wrist. I've got a bolt in my neck. We're coming up on Halloween. So, yeah, if you've got any Frankensteins walking up to you asking if you can do PEMF, if you're not sure, then pause and get clearance. You can always give me a call and I'll let you know if you can put PEMF on Frankenstein's bolts. I would imagine you could. That's probably what brought him to life to begin with. But again, there are no guarantees. And so sometimes services don't result in getting results. But again, the only time I've ever used PEMF on somebody where they didn't get results is that they were super toxic or they, for whatever reason, thought that they were super sensitive to it and they didn't want it to be as powerful. So we backed it way down. But again, those of you that follow me and are part of our group, we talk about the dry sponge. And if you have a dry sponge and every day you put a drop of water on it, it's going to stay dry. But if you take it and you drop it in the bucket and give it a squeeze, it's going to soak up all that water. Those are the different variations of PEMF. So if you're doing something very light, low and slow, it may take a while, which is fine, but as long as they know about it. In their world, they may not be seeing results. But in our world, there's a lot going on at the cellular level. It's just that it hasn't fully expressed itself yet. That was a lot for one slide. Okay, so what counts as an implant or interference risk? So there's an activated implant device like pacemakers, neurostimulators, pumps, cochlear, anything that gets put in surgically and has a battery and is turned on. So external devices like a Holter, which is the cardiac monitor, they got to wear it for a month or something like that. TENS units, smartwatches, hearing aids, headphones, anything that they stick on their body that has some sort of an electronic thing. And again, passive hardware. So screws, plates, dental implants, artificial joints, any kind of incision that's been made, even though the passive hardware is not going to be a problem if it was just recent and there's an incision that's healing. And then also, as far as on the vet side, there's microchips, GPS, e-collars. And if you're in a barn where there's some sort of tech nearby, those are some things that you want to be wary of too. So the cue on this one is any kind of active and electronic, use caution. And if it's passive and metal, just a comfort check. Some people have experienced like an artificial knee or a pin in their wrist. They get an extra feeling of warmth going on in there, but you're not gonna harm anybody when you use PEMF on a metal implant. that we know of so far, right? So there's always that 0.0001% that can happen. We've not seen it though. We've not seen it in any of our literature or people getting back to us. So in plain English, as far as the risk concepts, again, fields can disrupt electronics. So you got a pulsed electromagnetic field that you're around and inside of using PEMF, and anything that's inside of that cloud, there can be interference. I've taken my smartphone and dropped it right in the center of a PEMF device and turned it up, and it didn't do anything to it. So, I've never had a problem with phones. But again, if you've got keys with a fob on it, those are the ones that I've seen get wiped out. And even though I have a checklist and I ask people, make sure you take all of these things off. There was one guy that after we were done, I went, you forgot to take your keys out. He goes, oh, I forgot they were in there. I said, I asked you. He goes, yeah, I forgot. I said, well, that might have messed up your fob. He goes, nah, it's okay if it does or not. And then the next time he came back, he goes, yeah, it messed it up. He goes, but that's okay. He goes, you told me about it and I didn't think I had it. So, no harm, no foul on me. But you still feel bad for, it's like it could have been prevented. So even if they're saying yes to these things, you say, are you sure? Because if they don't take stuff out of pockets and put it in your little, special anti-PEMF, Faraday cage or collector EMF preventer, if you don't see that happening, just double check just to be safe. So again, loops, coils near the leads, high risk. So if you've got the closer your device is to their system, even if it's far away, but you're getting close to where the leads are, like it's a internal, TENS unit or something, again, it can be a high risk. And then sensitivity issues. So fresh surgery, those kinds of things. So monitor that. And then if there's anything that you don't know, so whatever unknowns there are, again, stop and verify if the details are unclear. So if they say, well, I had surgery, here, and I think they put something in, but they might have taken it out. Some people are like that. Or even with animals, it's like, oh man, I can't remember if we had that taken out or not. It might still be in. It's like, what? What was put in, what was taken out, or chips and things like that. So those of you that work with dogs or work with animals that are chipped, hey, let me know if you've ever had any experience with that, because again, for the most part that I know that they're safe inside a PEMF device. But those of you that are out there live on the field, drop a comment in here and let us know if you've ever had any problems. That would be great. And then as far as rule of thumb, ROT, if it talks to a battery, it talks to us. So that's the reference of whatever is inside the person. But if it has some sort of a communication ability, then we know that it's got some sort of an electronic means to do that, which may or may not function after direct contact with PEMF. As far as the triage algorithm, step 1, screen, ask about implants, changes, surgeries, pregnancies, seizures. Again, we've got a complete checklist for you to have as a member. Step 2, decide. So is there an active implantable medical device? And if there is, just make sure you get written clearance that it's okay to be in the presence of other electronic devices or magnetic devices, magnetic fields. And as far as passive hardware, usually treat and avoid incisions. A passive, like I said, anytime anybody's had some sort of a hip or shoulder or, pins or, that kind of a thing, I've never ever had there be an issue with it. And again, unknowns, avoid and get clearance. So if any of these create the red light, then again, stop and refer. It's better to delay any kind of care or sessions that you do versus having something go awry that neither one of you thought of. And of all of the people that I do sessions on, I think that maybe I've had to say no to one person. So because of what they had, I think it was a pacemaker that they had. So I just want to do a quick shout out here to Leslie. Hey, thank you for watching today. Thank you for watching live. Appreciate that. And the rest of you that are watching live as well. I appreciate that too. If you're, again, I'll throw this in. If you're watching the recording and you have some information about what we talk about, definitely drop it in the comments, because other people get to see this as well. And then I get a little ding that you entered something. So, Kimberly's got a question here. Yeah, let's take care of that. Can you do PEMF on someone that had stitches removed 10 days ago? His metal rods and legs due to break, but looking for PEMF to admit in healing. So in my world with that, is there like any oozing going on? You know, how any redness, any swelling, any tenderness over the surgical area? And I would honestly, if it was like my kids and that happened, I would put it on very low and start out away from the area and just kind of work towards it. But again, my story, the person just came in, their cheek was swollen. They just had, a tooth removed and surgery on their face. And we put it on probably an hour after it was done. And it was not bleeding anymore. And we watched the swelling go down. So I would say that, in my opinion, based on what's going on and based on what you just said here, where there's some tenderness, but it's due to the level of damage. If the wound itself is clean and healing, I would definitely put PEMF on it. But again, do a small amount in a small amount of time and check it and see. And I'd rather it be done like every 10, 15 minutes apart with a 5-minute low and slow for the initial start. And that way you're not oversaturating the area and you're not causing a problem. So hopefully that helps out, Kimberly. And thanks for asking. And again, step 3 of the triage is document. So, what are the screen results as far as your screening questions, any actions that you've done, name, settings, responses. And if you get a green light, then yep, you can treat, and then you can modify if there's anything that's in your yellow, so anything that you question. And so that's what we need to do. And you're welcome, Kimberly. Thanks. And then next we've got some practical workarounds. So again, never treat directly over or near medical devices or lead paths. For example, if somebody's got an implant and it's over, on the left side, and that's where the implant is, and there's leads. I've worked on the other side of the body. I've worked, ankles and knees and stuff. If there's a shoulder involved, you're fine as long as it's, not in that field. And again, you can drop it down and go a little bit slower, a little bit lower on impulse. Sorry. And then remote and distal regions, if it's safe and cleared. Manage your coil loops and cables. So make sure that, the device that you're using, where it's contacting, that it doesn't like come back over the area, that, everything's completely free and clear of any kind of contact with that. If the person's in doubt and that they're safe, again, if you make those protocols, they're going to appreciate that too. And the other one is, as far as the barn that you're in, making sure that there isn't any electronic devices in there that can go screwy. So I think that's probably the big one. Or like in a house, if you're treating out, if it's not your place, if they're not coming to you and you're going to them, if you're doing mobile, you probably already know what to look for and what to do. But it's always great to have that checklist and to ask somebody that's in charge, because somebody that works there may not know. It's like, well, I didn't know that was there. I just work here, So meanwhile, you have to figure out how to take care of an electronic device that got damaged, right? So fans, e-collars, collars, those kinds of things. And then communication scripts. So, some things that you can talk about is we avoid strong fields near electronics unless your clinician is okay with it. I can't work there without clearance. I'll send the info today. So again, you can email or text your checklist in advance so that you're not spending 20 minutes driving out somewhere only to find that you can't work that area. Let's pop your watch and hearing aid off, just to be safe, and we'll put them in another room, or, for me, it's a little wire cage that I'll put things in. I call it a Faraday cage, but you can, we'll talk about that too. But making sure that those things get set aside but far enough away that they're not in the field. As far as a vet or owner, avoid microchip side call electronics, and then if it is cleared, that you'll stay within the clinician's written boundaries. So even if you know that you're fine, they say, well, can you make sure that you don't get near this room, or whatever kind of circle, whatever line they draw, don't cross it, kind of thing. So just staying careful. Oh, look at this. Let's see what Leslie has to say. This may be off topic. Someone just asked me about helping with muscle pain. She just had a nerve ablation in February. Yeah. Nerve ablation is where they're going in and they're burning the nerve so they can't transmit information. Usually after 8 weeks, you're fine. So you can definitely get in there and try PEMF on it. The thing and they'll know this too, nerve ablations, our human body is so amazing, or, just if it's not a human, nerve ablation will actually reconnect over time. In fact, they give it a timeline of, it's like 2 to 5 years that the nerve sometimes grows back, but the pain is even worse. And I hope they were told that before they said yes to that procedure. But you can definitely work on those areas. You're not going to have any problem with that. And then what do we got here? Last slide here before we get into some other cool stuff. So documentation and coordination. So make sure you keep these things on file. And, intake and rescreen notes, clinician clearance documents, session logs as far as what you've done, and then any kind of criteria as far as a stop or hold. So if you're out there working on people, I have people come into my clinic, so they've got a card already, and I'll make notes on their treatment. So, if I'm doing chiropractic work, I put the SOAP notes there. If I'm doing PEMF, then I'll include that on that SOAP chart. So I've got a clear record of what I'm doing. So again, whatever your criteria is, and also if they have any kind of reaction. So if there's any kind of neurological symptoms, heart flutters, dizziness, any oddities that are going on, make note of that. The only time somebody is going to have a headache or dizziness is if they're having some sort of detox. So again, are you drinking water before, or are you drinking water after? Those are some of the criteria that we do too. So again, rule of thumb, if anything feels off, then just say, okay, let's write this down and talk about it, because the last thing you want to do is to make them feel worse afterwards without knowing that it could happen. And that they give you a 1-star review for making them feel bad, even though you explained it to them. But again, if it just feels off, then let's not do this. Or again, sometimes what we'll do is we'll take a blanket and put it on them, and then put the PEMF on top and really put a thick pad on there so that they can have even less of a PEMF field that they're inside of. Okay, so yeah, this is a great one, Karen. I have a client that has an inactive spine stimulator and battery. Is it okay to have PEMF sessions? So if they are ever going to have it on ever again, then that's something to consider. If it's like one and done and that device just needs to come out and it's just sitting in their body, I would say okay, but don't put the device over, don't put your PEMF over their device, because it will cause the electronics to maybe fire. So it's a possibility. The reason I'm saying that is I had a client that had a gold necklace on. This is my gold necklace story if you've not heard it. And I was working their shoulders, so I had the large collar around them. And for if you've never seen this before, her gold necklace was doing the Tesla coil arcing while the device was on, and she wasn't feeling it. I said, "Do you feel anything going on?" And I didn't want to freak her out by saying, "Your necklace is emitting blue electrical bolts," but they were just little tiny ones. But I'd never seen that before either. So I would imagine that under the skin devices could be doing some sort of arcing like that too, but it's more of a PEMF arc, I guess, than an actual electronic, because it was not electrocuting her, and she didn't even realize it was happening. But I wished I had taken my phone out and recorded it. So I guess anybody that's got a gold necklace, if you want to put around your neck and put PEMF on it and see if it does that same thing and record that, send it to me. All right. Karen, wearing a necklace and threw some sparks. So what I saw wasn't sparks. It was just this lazy blue, kind of a cloud, but it wasn't like like actual sparks off the metal. But you've seen it, okay? So I'm not the only one. All right, and let's see here. Oh, let's go on now. So again, those of you that are joining us, we just went through some implants and interference and some steps that you can take. Again, as members, we've got a whole pack of paperwork and questionnaires and stuff for you to go through with your clients as you get your certifications and you learn all about these awesome things that we do with PEMF and some ways that you can intervene and help your sessions, things to ask and stuff. So if you are using a PEMF device, you're not certified, and you don't have anything from the company that made it, it's just like, here's your device, come on in, be a member. It's very inexpensive, and you get certified so that not only can you do these things coming from knowledge, but also with confidence, and become a member. So if you have any questions or tips, always send them to us, info@pemfprofessionals.com. On this thread on Facebook, drop them in, just like those of you that are doing it today. All of those things will show up as well. And as a member, again, we have some great things inside there. One of them is our PEMF Physicians Referral Toolkit, how you can start working with professionals and how you go about approaching them and working inside their clinic or working on some of their clients. Some other cool things we've got in there are those of you that are out there and you want some business insurance. We've got that for you too. Really cool company. And then the last one, of course, is our PEMF Con, PEMFCon 2025. So the dates are out. So block your calendar from November 5th and 6th. And it's where we level up. And it's 2 days. You'll get science first, brand neutral guidance that you can apply with any PEMF system, plus business tactics you can use at the same time, or we say the very next day, but right after you hear it, it's like, oh, I want to try that out. But why you'll love it is it's clear plug and play takeaways. Those of you that have been to our other ones before, those are some of the things that you've enjoyed. And then also we've got some tracks. There's 2 tracks, 1 community. So there's human and vet sessions. We do some crosstalk for mixed practices, kind of like what I'm doing today. And then also mobile teams. And then some names that you know as far as speakers, Dr. Markov, Mark Markov, and John Kressler, Andy Smith, Elaine Polly, Christina Noss, myself. And then we've also got some more that are coming. PEMF, is it online or in person? And so It's still going to be online this year. We're looking at, it's like, what do you do? West Coast, Midwest or East Coast. So we're looking at eventually doing a live. That's our goal, is to have that where people can come and get some really cool sessions going on. But for now, again, this one will be via. I think it's going to be via Zoom. So, but there's more information on that as well. Those of you that are members are going to you'll be getting email about that. Those of you that are interested in it and that aren't members, our channel here is all about it. So you'll be getting some information from that as well. So again, thank you for your time today. And some things that you can do is know, like, and share us, especially if you know some people that are PEMF users that might want to jump in and be part of our PEMF con this year. Love to have them jump on board. It's a great way to find out what we're all about, but also the science behind PEMF and how other people are using it, and being able to do some chats and stuff with the people. So hey Leslie, yeah, wouldn't it be great? Jump over, jump in the mid. That's probably, if we ever did one, that's probably what we would do, because people on the West Coast don't have to travel all the way to the East Coast, and everybody just come to a central location. So that would be my vote also. So again, with that, thank you so much for your time today. Hope you learned a few things that you can implement right away. And those of you that are in the scientific mode, go grab your gold necklace, put it around your wrist or around your neck. Let's see if you have some blue glowing going on. But with that, take care, and we'll see you again next week. Have a good day. Thanks.